I made a few notes from an exercise that I did a few weeks ago, and this morning, ironically, I was on social media, Instagram, and Will Smith had made a post about something in the same vein of this particular exercise. On his post, he mentioned that he was trying to find something to do, and he went to go turn on the news on TV, and he remembered how agitated and how aggravating the news was to him. So he just was pondering why turn the news on and what he called disrupt himself. Um, the post I couldn't find when I went back to direct my sister to it, but yeah, he had posted it this morning. So I took my notes, looked at it because I had full intention of coming back and posting something eventually on the blog, but I said I might as well do it today. So here's the exercise. It was a Sunday, and I noticed previously that I tend to get more done or be more productive when I did not have any distractions in the house, and that being the TV or music, just quiet. And so on this particular day, I was working off of a to-do list and housekeeping and this and that and the other. Probably wanted to do some writing, and so I said I was just gonna allow it to be quiet in here. And I noticed a few things, and being alone with yourself in silence is very eye-opening. At least it was for me. One, because I grew up with TV, and I even have a friend who says I was raised by the TV, and I don't know how much this dates myself or how many people might be familiar with, but it was a show in the early 90s called Dream On. Dream On came on HBO, and it was about this guy who kind of filtered his life through TV shows. So when things were going on in his head, he was seeing clips of shows. And she even jokes with me about that. She was like, "You're the guy from Dream On," because I always make. First of all, I know a lot of TV trivia from the 80s and 90s, and I don't think it's a day that goes by that I don't reference certain TV shows in everyday conversation. So anyways, TV has kind of always been around. So it's kind of difficult for me to turn off the TV because it's something that's always been present. So I'm sitting around, and I'm getting these things done off the checklist, and the silence is, this is super cliche, but the silence is deafening. And I'm in here and I'm alone with my thoughts, and there's a couple of things that's happening. It's threefold. One, without the background of the TV, I found it to be very lonesome. Also, here's the second part of that. Also, I found it to be at the same time peaceful. And the third part is that I was brainstorming like crazy. The creative juices were really going once I was alone with myself and my thoughts with no distraction. And it was so weird. It was so weird. Weird enough for me to say to myself, I need to post about this, because some may not interpret it this way, but silence can be very confrontational when left alone. To just think, my head was just flooded with so many different things, and in a sense it was great, but then again, go back to, it was very lonesome. And I think it's just a matter of always throughout my life, always having the TV present, the noise, the stories, and everything associated with it. And that is probably being a child of the 70s and 80s, the TV. And now it's probably more relatable to kids in their iPads. And I wonder if that's going to be a thing for them later on in life. You know, how basically iPads are extensions on the arms of kids these days. But yeah, Will Smith reminded me of that this morning, and I wanted to talk about it for a second. And I also wanted to, as a creative, I wanted to encourage people to try it and see what you come up with, you know. But it's something important that I need to mention too. This exercise literally lasted me maybe 15 minutes before I couldn't even take it any fucking more, and I had to turn on my TV. 15 minutes. I couldn't be alone with myself, in my head, in my thoughts, without whatever on TV as background noise for 15 minutes before I had to turn it back on. And that is eye-opening too, but I guess that's just what it is when, for all your life, your best friend has been a Toshiba.